of that you put your hands or your fingers on particular areas to draw the energy towards those areas, and then it moves through places where it might be blocked otherwise. And what we're doing is we're doing yin poses, and we're just overlying touches on specific Jin Shin Jyutsu points. And the two reminders about Jin Shin Jyutsu that I try and, well, one about yin and one about Jin Shin Jyutsu that I try and remind everybody every time is with the yin and the poses, so listen to your own body. I mean, each of our bodies is different. And the great thing, I think, about a Zoom class is that we're not looking over and going, oh my God, I can't do that. And there's a reason you can't do that. And it's because your body's different than that person's body. And we have no, when we can't see what other people are doing, we're not going to try and push ourselves to do stuff that we shouldn't be doing. But yin is all about softening into poses, not pulling into poses. And it's all about flexibility, not strength. So, for example, if we're doing a pose that involves, do you like my slippers, guy? My silver slippers? You have a pair like that, Loma, don't you?
I do. I have the red ruby slippers.
So, for example, in yin, if we're doing a pose like, a forward bend like this, in a strength kind of yoga, we'd be flexing our feet and we'd be grabbing on and pulling them and stuff. In yin, everything's going to be floppy and soft. And we're going to kind of move forward in a lot softer way. So there's
Alison, you're very faint.
I am.
Yeah,
Well,
here.
Let me see if my volume's all the way up. My volume is all the way up. How about for you, Julie, and you, Aloma? Aloma,
Okay,
Julie.
but you have been kind of freezing up.
I'm back. I heard my name. What did you say? Yeah.
I said, can you hear me?
Yes.
That's better. Look.
Is that better? I'm screaming.
Yeah.
I will continue to scream. Okay, so I was at the point where I'm saying be soft, be gentle, listen to your body. Don't do anything that your body is not happy doing. And I'm going to give you suggestions about a pose, but you don't have to take them. And I'm going to give you options. And some days you'll want the more challenging options, and some days you won't. And, give yourself a break. If you really don't want to be challenged today, don't challenge yourself. The thing about the Jin Shin Jyutsu is two things. It's not a specific point. It's an area about a hand's width. So if I say, it's on, say, the inside of your wrist, you don't have to be right there. You can just hold it like this. And the softer, the gentler the touch you can use, the better. Because what your fingers are is jumper cables. And you're wanting to draw the energy through your whole body to that place. Because as it goes through your body, it's moving through all sorts of organs and passageways. And the more you're drawing it to you, the more it's clearing out any blocks or debris. And if you're firmly pressing, you're not drawing it, you're pushing it, and it pushes it away, actually. So let me see who's here. And what time is it? Okay. Hi, Debbie. And Marianne.
Hello.
Hi, Betty and Elizabeth and Karki and Kathy. Oh boy. We got a good, and hi, Marianne.
Yeah.
Two Marianne. We've got Marianne. Marianne, one reason Marianne Constantini, but you spell it differently.
All right.
So does anybody have any, questions or comments or anything you'd like to tell me or you'd like me to work on today? Julie, did the last session we did help your back at all?
Oh, yeah, it did actually.
Oh, cool.
It really did.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how's your back feeling now?
It's good. It's really pretty good.
Yay.
Yeah.
Which hip did you have replaced, Moira?
Sorry?
Which hip did
Oh,
you
my
have?
right hip.
Your right hip. Okay. So what should you not do? Should you not sit cross-legged?
I still find it uncomfortable.
Okay. If you use a ton, again, I don't want to encourage you to do anything that hurts or will hurt you. But obviously you want to regain some flexibility. So if you sat like that, would it still hurt? On tons
No,
of
I've got it under 2 cushions, and that's better.
Perfect. So gather as much as around you, everybody, as you have in the way of props, so that when we go into a pose, if you say, oh, my right hip's really unhappy, my knee is, whatever, you've got props everywhere to just stick them under, put them under your shoulders if you're doing a twist, whatever. Get props available. Okay, somebody else is signing in here, I think. Oh, I always forget that I'm not on my iPad, and I try and drag things around with my finger, and it just doesn't work on my laptop. Because I'm really kind of ditzy these days. I'm going like this everywhere. Hi, Susan. Oh, that's a good groan, whoever's groaning.
That was me, Judy.
Oh, it sounded heartfelt.
I just can't move without making noise.
Well, that's the other good thing about being on Zoom. None of us hear you. Oh, okay. If you don't have a block at home, if you do have a big fat book at home, you can use that. I was doing a private lesson with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I said, do you have a block, a yoga block? And he said, no, I don't. And I said, okay, get something like, the collected works of Shakespeare or a big dictionary or something. And he said, we don't have any books. Oh my God, how could you live in a house without any books?
Oh.
Okay, let's see. All right, I think, hi Kathleen and Susan.
Good morning.
Allison.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, and Karina, hi there. Okay, I think we're gonna start. So what I typically try and do is mute you all while I'm doing the practice. But if you have a question or you can't hear me or you want to say something, just unmute yourself and ask. And mute all current and new proceedings. Ah, it actually worked. Okay, so we're going to start. And as we usually do, I was going to say always, but it's not necessarily always. We're going to start with the Jin Shin Jyutsu Hug. And as I usually do, I tell you, you can do it sitting, you can do it lying. If you're lying, your knees can be however you want them to be. But the most important thing is that you have a nice straight spine. So if I do it sitting, I usually sit up on something to tilt my pelvis just very slightly forward. And that way, my spine can be nice and straight. I'm going to tell you when we're halfway through, so that if you are sitting with crossed legs, you can switch the cross of your legs, or no matter how you're sitting or lying, if you want, you can switch the cross of your arms. We're going to hold this for 5 minutes. We're starting now. I like to do it with my eyes closed. And typically, in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we start on an exhalation. And typically, if I weren't talking to you and distracting you, you would be counting 36 breaths, starting with the exhalation. So your breaths would be slow and long, easy, but deep. So just set up those breaths. If you want to count, go ahead and count. Sometimes counting focuses your attention so your mind's not jumping all around, putting you in a slightly more meditative state. And as you know, each of these points that we hold that in Jin Shin Jyutsu are called safety energy locks or cells has a meaning and a mantra and applications. And cell 26 meaning is complete, that which was, is, and will be. Its mantra is I know complete peace. A hug, whether we give it to ourselves or someone else, relaxes us, helps us let go of stress and worry. Makes us feel centered, makes us feel appreciated. If you want to switch legs or arms, we're halfway through. If you want to loosen up your neck and shoulders a little bit while you're doing the hug by dropping your chin to your chest, then bringing your chin towards the ceiling. Maybe dropping it again. Lifting it again. Coming to neutral and maybe dropping your right ear over your left and going back and forth side to side a couple of times. Noticing where there's crunching and maybe some hesitation. You can do this if you want. If you don't, if you want to just remain still, that's fine too. Maybe bring it back to neutral and turn your head to look over your right shoulder and then back through center, looking over your left shoulder. Move it any way you want to, any way that feels good. Any way that just feels natural. Maybe move it around in circles. If you're moving it in circles and you go one direction, make sure to reverse the direction. Making sure there's no tension in your jaw, your teeth, your tongue. And then just drop your hands, and if your eyes were closed, open your eyes. And we're going to do a little twist. So take your left arm up, or if that hurts your shoulder, don't take it up, just bring it around and try and put it right behind your tailbone here so that you're making your back be straight. If you've done the hug lying down, you can just pull your knees into your chest and roll your knees over to one side for the twist. If you're sitting, we're just going to twist around, taking our right hand over our left knee. And just breathe there. It's soft. You're not pulling yourself into the twist. Just doing a gentle twist. If you're lying down, roll back over to your back and twist the other way. If you're sitting up, we're just going to come back to the center. Take our right hand up or around behind our tailbone, our left hand around the outside of our right knee. And just move into the twist from your tailbone, your hips, feeling that twist move all the way up your back. Your head can be looking straight ahead. It can be looking right or left, whatever's comfortable. And then come back to center. Roll your shoulders, getting any tension out. You know what? We're going to do a couple of sitting cat-cows. So if you're lying on your back, why don't you come up to any comfortable sitting position, put your hands on your knees, and then pressing your heart forward, hollowing your back, look up, and then pushing into your knees, rounding your back, bringing your shoulder forward, look down. Hollow, bringing your shoulders back, look up. Round and look down. And then just loosen it out, whatever way feels good. And we're going to go into a flow, an energy flow. And the flow we're going into is for stomach. It's the stomach function energy flow. And we're going to do it in dragonfly with a twist. So if you want to do it on your back, you can do it on your back doing half butterfly on either side. I'm going to do it sitting, and I'm just going to take my legs a little bit out, but not hugely out, not so wide that it's annoying for my groin. And our hands, let me show you where our hands are. This is cell 21, right under the, right on the side of the nose, okay? So your right hand is going to be on the left of your nose. And your left hand is going to be right under this little bone, your collarbone, on the left also. And we're going to turn to the right, and you can just stay sitting like this, or you can do a forward bend. And I'm going to do the forward bend, but I'm going to put a big prop here so that I can bring my elbow down on it. And set up the breath. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you don't feel like anything's hanging out. I'm just letting my left arm come, fall down my side. I'm not supporting it on anything. If I wanted to, I could come a little further into the twist and support my left elbow on my left leg. Find a way that you're really comfortable, that you can stay here, because we're going to be here for 3 minutes. So the mantra for stomach function energy flow is, I trust my gut. So in other words, when you have a gut instinct about anything, you trust it. Jumper cabling stomach function brings the energy to our center. It nourishes us both digestively with food, and it also helps us to digest thoughts. Now move yourself back up, out of this side. Take your props, move them over to the other side. Take your left hand, bring it on the right hand side of your nose. Take your right hand, bring it right under your collarbone. Twist your torso so it's facing over your extended left leg. And you can stay just like this, or you can lower yourself. Notice where you feel the stretch. Notice where you feel the energy moving in the Yin pose. I feel it in my lower back, and I feel it all up my right side also. Again, if anything feels pinched or uncomfortable, adjust it. Adjust a prop, move back out or move in a different way. Don't remain with anything uncomfortable. So some possible applications for stomach function energy are physically, it strengthens muscle tone and knees. It helps with stomach diseases, helps with cravings for sweets, salty things maybe. And it helps with all kinds of mouth diseases, canker sores, gum problems, even chapped lips, lip problems. And then mentally, it helps physical and emotional digestion, harmonizes worry, helps with lack of concentration, helps with eating disorders, and it helps with nervous depletion. We have 1 more minute here. Okay, come out of this pose. And the next pose we're going to do, well, on the way there, if you've got any, places where you feel a little torqued or tight, just loosen it out. Maybe windshield wipers your legs, just, do anything you need to do to loosen up. And then the next pose we're going to go into is a butterfly pose. And you can do this on your back or sitting up. If you have hip, knee, groin issues, you probably want to support your knees. And as you all probably know by now, I have right groin issues, so I always support my right knee higher than my left knee. And that's okay. You don't have to be completely symmetrical. The soles of your feet are together. If you're doing it on your back, and it's uncomfortable with the soles of your feet together, just bend your knees or with your feet on the floor. Do it however is comfortable. The cell we're touching is inside the hip connectors here on either side of our legs, right there in the groin. And again, I'm going to do a forward bend, but you don't have to unless you want to. And if you're doing a forward bend and you'd like something to prop yourself on, just bring a prop there and maybe bring your head to it. Take a few minutes to adjust yourself so you're really happy. And then after you've adjusted yourself, take a few minutes to adjust your breath. So it goes back to that slow, even breathing. So these 2 energy points on either side of your pubic bone, right in the crease of your groin there. The meaning is joy and laughter. And the mantra is wash our hearts with laughter. When our cell 15 is open, we're in harmony with our destiny and experience joy. It helps to relieve mental tension and generate new ideas. It harmonizes physical activity, strengthens the pelvic organs, and allows energy to flow down to the feet. Holding cell 15 helps the body to heal more quickly. An open cell 15 fills the heart with hope. We have 1 more minute here. Okay, come out of that carefully and shake anything out anywhere you want, or Judy, feel free to moan or groan. Anybody else, feel free to moan or groan. Loosen up everywhere. And the next cell we're going to do is cell 21, which I do a lot because I think it's just really good to jump or cable it regularly. And it's cell 21 underneath the cheekbones here. You can do it holding the cheekbones like this with your fingers, or holding your head like this. And I usually do it in Sphinx pose, lying on your belly and then propping your elbows and bringing your head up. But I have an alternative for today. Do it in Sphinx if you want. But I have an alternative for today that gives us the same kind of arch in our back as Sphinx does, but it's just a little different. We don't usually do it this way. I'm going to do it in bridge pose. I don't have a block, I have a book because my Airbnb woman reads. If you don't have a book or a block, just put a pillow under your tailbone or whatever you can find, or you can just, whoops, there I go, falling off my book. So actually, this is not the way I want to get into it. I want to lie down, bend my knees, bring my butt up and slip my book under it. There, much better. Adjust my legs and then just bring my arms up and let my fingers rest right there under my eyes, under that bone, right under my eyes. Breathe. If you're feeling like you want more of a challenge today and you want to do an unsupported bridge for a while, do it for a minute or two, and then maybe go into the supported bridge. We're going to hold this pose for 4 more minutes. If at any point your back starts to hurt, your legs start to hurt, let it go. You can come out of it and go back in if you want, or you can just rest there with maybe a pillow under the arch of your back. So like I said, this is a cell I do a lot, so you've heard this before, but I'm going to tell you again. It means profound security, escape from mental bondage. And the mantra is, I see beyond my own limitations. And holding cell 21 helps us get rid of prejudices. And it breaks stuck patterns of thoughts. When we succeed in letting go of old notions, we suddenly sense a greater freedom and discover the unexpected. Children often support their head with their hands like this, precisely when they get tired and they need kind of a shot of energy, a shot of inspiration. Holding cell 21 helps you think better. Helps with almost anything in the face. Sinus, toothache, neuralgia. And it helps with digestive problems. Actually, holding many, if not most of these cells helps with digestive problems because the energy is moving whenever you're holding a cell is moving extensively through the digestive system. Some helps, more intensely than others, but it just keeps a good flow of energy through that whole system. And like I said, it boosts energy and it boosts understanding and it boosts inspirational thought. We have 1 more minute here. So you can come out of that and move out whatever way loosens up any tightness in your back, any tightness in your tailbone or legs or knees. Just do whatever you need to loosen up. And we're going to move into a child's pose next. But if a child's pose isn't for you today, you can do this on your back as well. So I'm going to show you on your back first. And I'm going to show you where the Jin Shin Jyutsu points are. They are right under this occipital bone here at the back of your head on either side of your spine. So if you're on your back, you can do the equivalent of a child's pose with your legs and then just put your hands, I like to just keep my arms on the floor. Put your hands on those 2 points on either side of your spine. If you're doing it in the child's pose, you may want to create some props for your elbows, or you can also just, if you're particularly in a wide leg child's pose, you can just rest your elbows on the ground and use the ground as props for your elbows there. So if you want something under your chest or under your butt or anything, if you're on a forward child's pose, get it all set up, get yourself really comfortable before you move into the Jin Shin Jyutsu part. And then if you find that you can't, we're going to hold this for 3 minutes. If you find that you can't hold it for the full 3 minutes, that's fine. You're not carved in stone here. You're holding self 4 now. And the meaning of this is the window that lets the light and air in. And the mantra is visions come true. The number 4 in numerology, and I think both Chinese and I certainly know in Feng Shui, is the window that receives the breath of life and admits consciousness into the body. The number 4 in Chinese numerology also stands for death. So it's also the window through which the breath of life goes out. When that window is open and receiving, we can receive universal consciousness. Spiritual ideas can take a concrete form. Cell 4 opens the energy flow both into and out of the head. It harmonizes thought and vision, as well as everything else that goes on in the head. Balances the energy of the right and the left sides of the body, and it connects the 2 sides of the brain for better learning and coordination. If you want to dream at night and you hold cell 4 before you go to sleep, theoretically, it'll, I don't know whether it increases your dreaming, but theoretically it increases the memory of your dreams. Physically, it's good for headaches, neck tension, dizziness, eye and ear problems, and mentally it calms thoughts, promotes logic and common sense, and it brings peace and clarity. You have 1 more minute here. Okay. whatever position you're in, let go of it, let yourself loosen up, and then take a look at me, because I've got 3 options for you here. What you're going to be holding, and you're going to be doing it on both sides. We're going to be doing it 3 or 4 minutes each side. So you're going to be holding your little toe with the opposite hand and your pubic bone right in between your groins with, in this case, I'm holding my left little toe with my right hand and my pubic bone with my left hand. So if you want a forward bend, if you want some work on your hips and your back, you can be doing it in exactly the position I'm doing it here, with my left foot on top of my right knee. I'm going to prop my left knee. I'm going to try and kind of turn the sole of my foot up towards the ceiling. Left hand is in my pubic bone, and I'm just going to come into a forward bend. And if I want to prop under my head in the forward bend, I'm going to get that. Bob's your uncle, there I go. So, option 2. If you like option 1 and you think you want to do that, you can just stay there. You don't even have to look at me anymore. You can just start. Option 2 is I'm lying on my back with my foot on the ground. And I'm going to bring my knee up and grab my little toe with my left hand, right hand of the pubic bone. Option 3 is I'm in happy baby, holding little toe with opposite hand, pubic bone, like so. Flat on your back's a little more awkward for me, but you might like it. Find which way you're going, find which props you're using, get yourself really comfy, and we're going to do 3 minutes on this side, and I'll tell you when to switch sides.
Allison, on your back, is it opposite hand to opposite leg, or is it same hand to same leg?
You know what? It's supposed to be opposite hand to the opposite leg, but that's what made it awkward for me. So if you want to do same hand, same leg, do it. Now, if you're on your back with your knees bent and your feet lifted up, then you can do opposite hand, opposite leg easily. You have 1 more minute this side. Okay, let go of that. Don't be in a great hurry to switch sides. If you need to shake anything out, do so. You may need entirely different props or an entirely different approach on the other side. You may even want to do it in a different position. Get yourself organized with the props or whatever you need. Come into the pose and then start to set up your breath, maybe starting on an exhalation. So we're doing the kidney function energy flow now. And the mantra for this is, I come into my inner wisdom. In the Jin Shin Jyutsu system, this determines the life path and development and connects us with our inner wisdom, our instincts, our perceptions of things. Mentally, it helps with a lack of willpower or creativity or motivation. Physically, it detoxifies. Good for spine and bone problems. Good for heart problems, high blood pressure, and I love this one, and graying hair. Well, it may be a little too late for me now. We have 1 more minute here. Okay, move yourself out of this. And I'm going to show you, wiggle and waggle, do whatever you need to. That should go without saying. Sometimes I kind of want to rush into the next thing, but just ignore me. Move around, do whatever your body asks you to. I'm going to show you where the next spot is, and it's just right over the top of your breastbone, kind of at your heart center, hands on both sides. And I'd like for you, unless you have high blood pressure and it's not a great idea for you to do an inversion, I'd like you to do this in an inversion because that's so healthy for our brain and our respiratory system. So if you're near a wall and you want to do legs up the wall, great. Get your butt as close to the wall as you can get it, and then just bring your legs up. They can be open, closed, bent, whatever. If you're not near a wall, but you're near a couch or something, you could just rest the top of your legs on the couch or a table, chair, whatever. You, as I'm just doing here, can have your legs up an imaginary wall. And then just rest your hands, let them flop above each breast at your heart center. And breathe. This is Safety Energy Lock 13. The meaning is love thine enemies. The mantra is creative power comes from the heart. The number 13 represents infinite cosmic energy, which can flow when we open our chest, when we're in the heart. Cell 13 helps us to recognize mistakes and take the blame. By opening cell 13, new power flows into us and we become more creative. It helps us to release emotion. It correlates with the thymus gland and supports the immune system. Helps with problems with the shoulders, neck, thyroid. Strengthens the reproductive organs. Helps with menopausal ailments. Strengthens the immune system and helps with autoimmune diseases. It's good for eating disorders and cancers. It soothes pain, and helps with guilt and forgiveness. We have one more minute. So we're just going to drop our legs and our feet and come into relaxation pose. So if you want to roll or twist a little, go ahead. And then come flat back, flat on your back with your spine nice and straight. Bending your knees with your feet on the floor. And then you're going to bring your feet to the outside edges of the mat and just support your knees with each other. This pose is an absolutely fabulous way of getting rid of stress and tension and adrenaline. And then take your middle finger, hold your middle finger with the opposite hand. And I'm going to tell you when we're halfway through so you can switch hands. This is the third depth. And we've talked about since the beginning of class, we talked when our palms are together, that's the sixth depth, which is bringing the energy of the universe into your body, creating your personal blueprint. We've talked about the first depth, which is the thumb, the second depth, which is the ring finger. And we're going from the outside in now. The first thumb depth would be the skin, and the ring finger would be moving in more towards the core of your body, being the deep skin. And this third finger correlates with the blood. The color associated with it is green. And holding this middle finger gives us the ability to make decisions and allows us to sense what we need. It helps carry the potential within us into the world, to gather experience and to learn. Issues relating to the liver and the gallbladder belong to the third depth. And mentally and emotionally, it helps with a hardening of thoughts and feelings, getting stuck in attitudes and ability to make decisions. And it really helps when you're angry, enraged, you feel aggressive, judgmental. No surprise, it's the middle finger. Switch hands. By jumper cabling this middle finger, you can renew the ability to be creative. To put thoughts into action. Let go of the fingers. If you want to stay here in relaxation pose, stay right where you are. If you want to go back to legs up the wall, you can do that. If you want to just slide your legs down and let your arms flop out in a more traditional Shavasana, go ahead and do that. If you want to get some props or put a blanket over you, maybe an eye pillow, do whatever you need to do for Shavasana. Curl up in a fetal pose, anything. Get as comfortable as you could possibly be. And then just let every atom of your body relax. Let your heavy bones soften, sink into the earth. Let all the fluids in your body just flow easily. Let any tension go from your jaw or your face. Let every hair on your head relax. Take a minute to bring yourself to sitting. Take the whole minute just by bringing the attention back to the room. Maybe thinking about how you're going to move before you make any movement at all. Make it soft, careful. I don't know if I can unmute you, but if you want to go in and unmute yourself, do so. And when you get back up to sitting, just bring your hands in front of your heart in prayer. And we're going to chant one Om together, starting with a deep inhalation. Namaste.
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 Thank you, Alison.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me.